What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Bump and Feed. Today we're going to continue part 2 of what will probably be a continuing series, wrestling video games. Last time that we talked, we had left off on, I think, Here Comes the Pain, and kind of branching into modern games, but we want to take a step back a little bit, and I want to mention, this is probably my number 2 favorite game of all time, and it has a lot to do with playing it as a kid, but I love WWF Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah,
for Super Nintendo.
Huge Royal Rumble fan.
Yeah, and I guess it was very, very similar to WWF Raw as well.
Yeah, it was very similar.
So, and then I read today while I was kind of just researching some of this stuff. I did not realize the Genesis version had different characters than the Super Nintendo version.
Whoa.
The NES version or the SNES version had like Flair, Yoko, some guys like that, but the Genesis version had Hogan, had Jim Duggan, and stuff like, and I never knew that because I always had it on Super Nintendo.
Yeah, I did not know
so
that.
I never knew that, and that was very, very interesting to me.
Yeah, I did not know that either.
And I love some of the cool things about that. I remember playing my big thing because I got this game came out in '93, and I remember playing it. And there's two things. One, and I played it for years, obviously, but the one I didn't know because I was six when this game came out in 1993, and I remember thinking I always confused Razor Ramon with Gold Dust because of the gold chains. And so in my 6-year-old head, I'm like, I want to play as Gold Dust. And then it just, the revelation that's not...
They're not the same person.
It's really, really cool. And then the other thing I did, in 1995, after Shawn won the Royal Rumble, I became obsessed. I had a notebook with paper, and my goal was to be Shawn Michaels and win as many Royal Rumbles as I could.
Whoa!
And I remember, just filling pages up of just hash marks of me playing through
and there were
winning the Royal Rumble.
I'm assuming tons of them where you didn't win.
Oh yeah.
Oh my lord! How many Royal Rumbles did you play on that game?
I played this game religiously.
Wow!
It was so amazing.
Huh?
And I played the single player and stuff like that as well, or not the single player. They're all single player, but
that was the selling point for that game, though.
But that was exactly. They actually
received that as a Christmas present about 2 years ago.
Nice.
And it ruled. And I was very jazzed to get that game. So.
It's so good. I love it. I love a lot of the styles of that. I love the styles of the 16-bit stuff, and even going into, and they even make them like this today, Fire Pro Wrestling.
Right.
Which Fire Pro Wrestling has a special place in my heart because it's one of the only games that feature death matches.
And random ass guys.
Dude, so random. And I love...
Madman Pondo is on this game.
Yeah.
I actually have a copy for PlayStation 2 that's signed by Madman Pondo.
Yeah, when we went to...
Yeah, you were there. Yeah, we did that together.
That was where Masada faced Matt Hardy.
Speaking of Fire Pro Wrestling, the greatest match I ever had on that game featured Madman Pondo, and it was Madman Pondo versus Jun Kasai in an electrified no ropes barbed wire match that went for like 20 minutes. Now... I lost the match, and I kept a good battle up. I was Pondo, and Jun Kasai won the match. But I tried to recreate that match, or even have a match similar to that many times, and I never could recreate that time. You would either get beat, or you would end up beating that guy. I never could recapture the 20, 25 minutes me and him were just battling in this barbed wire, mess. That's awesome. That's one of the greatest games of all time. Aren't they coming out with a new?
Yeah, they are coming out with a new one, I think, later this year, actually.
So the Fire Pro lives.
The other thing, the other thing that I like about it is, especially because how today they're all about simulation, which we talked about in the last video, but I like that it's arcadey, but it has a simulation feel a little bit because it's not a button masher.
Right.
You have to time.
You have to.
And I think
you have to work at that game. Man, it took me a good month to even probably win my first match without putting it on easy. Like you have to know what you're doing on that game. Fire Pro Wrestling is not for beginners.
But it's so fun.
It's so fun. You can get, and it's hard to I will lose way more than I win, but I love the battle.
Yep.
I love working. That's actually going back to like the No Mercies in those games. If you put that game on hard, you have to work your ass off to get a victory, and that's my favorite. Even today, you're handed those victories.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's simulated. I mean, sure you'll lose. You will lose, and if you put it on hard or legend or whatever the hardest level is today, you'll probably lose, but the simulation takes out the battle that you'll work for in like a Fire Pro Wrestling or an old 64 THQ game.
I think that has a lot to do with maybe just today's society. Like, because to me, not that we're old by any means, but like, if I have to work for something, it's so much better. But like today, when kids want to play, this is a weird turn for this video, but when kids play games, they just want to win. They want to be, basically, they want to have every match like what Brock Lesnar did. Like, they just want to go in, murder everybody, no offense towards them, and be done with it.
And if they're not winning, or if that's not happening on a video game today, speaking of like a wrestling game, they're complaining online and they're trying to get it changed or get a patch because they're losing. I don't know. Back in my day, there was no such thing as a patch. You had to go to the store and buy a magazine. It cost $5
Yep.
to possibly get some codes.
Maybe get some. You're hoping they were in there.
But yeah, Fire Pro Wrestling is one of the greatest games of
Yeah.
all time. If you've never played that one.
Yeah. And I actually have the imported version for Sega Saturn.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because
That's really
I
cool.
don't know if they released it in America on Sega Saturn. And remember, Kevin had the Pixel Nation, and he
Right.
sold the
Kevin Morris.
Yeah, Kevin Morris. He sold the card that
Yeah.
what you could put in it. It wasn't a mod chip. I don't think this was illegal, but
Right.
it was basically a to bypass the region restrictions. I guess
Right.
technically maybe that is illegal. I don't know.
Today it doesn't.
But yeah, I mean, it was 20 some years later. But
the original hackers.
and I bought Fire Pro Wrestling for the Sega Saturn, and it was imported. I mean, everything was in Japanese.
That's
I had to
awesome.
get online and look up, translations, so I knew what
Yeah.
matches I was going to, what arenas, and all
Yeah.
that stuff. But yeah, man, I loved that series so
That's
much.
really cool.
And I'm really happy it's coming back. And I love the it did customization before anything else did.
They really did.
You could go in and fully customize anything.
Yeah, because it starts out with guys with random names, but you know who those guys are, and you can change their
Yeah.
names to what they should be. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, hopefully the new one, will be just as good and awesome. And I'm sure hopefully there'll be some random ass guys on there, some
I
dudes
hope
that,
so, man.
Like that's the thing about the old one. Like, what game is going to have Jun Kasai on it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
Like,
hope he's in the new one.
and Bruiser Brody, and Andre the Giant. You have all the legends.
Hogan was on.
Hogan,
Alright.
Terry Funk. You have everybody, and it's split off into the promotions even. Like you'll have like your hardcore FMW, Big Japan
Big
type
Japan.
sections. Then you'll have like your New Japan and your All Japan type sections.
Yeah.
It's very and like a USA type section. It's
Luger,
very
I think
strange.
Luger maybe on one of those games.
Maybe.
Dude, it was
I
the
don't
most
remember
random.
particularly, but
God, that's what I feel like they were going with or trying to imitate, and they failed. I know people love this game, but I hate it. With WCW versus the World on
Okay.
PlayStation.
Right. I never played that one.
Dude, I hate that game. And I don't know if maybe because on that game you had your American wrestlers, your WCW guys, and then you had like your Japanese guys like Muda. Of course, I guess technically like Muda was kind of a cross talent stuff, but yeah, there was a bunch of stuff, man. It's a very. I did not like the game that much.
Yeah.
I remember Chris Benoit being on. I think Chris Benoit being on that game, and I remember just killing people with like Germans. Well, but man, I just remember that.
He's
like,
so fun to play with on any game that I
was,
usually
yeah.
played. I'd usually, but from another video, Here Comes the Pain. I went through a career with Chris Benoit, so
Dude,
I mean,
he
he
was
was
the best
usually the
moveset.
funnest to go through with him or Eddie. I mean, they weren't only the best in real life; they were the best in the virtual
game.
world.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but we are going to end the video here. Let us know down below what you think. Let us know what games that you want to see us talk about or anything like that, or mention games that we haven't mentioned before, and we'll look into them. I'm sure we've probably played a majority of anything that's wrestling related. I try to play, no matter how crappy it is.
Yeah, those
Good.
were my favorite games growing up.
So,
So
but yeah, we're going to end the video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you guys in the next video.